we should hire a building engineer. He's our man on our side. He's telling us what's really going on. He's going to check the property. He's going to see if the tiles are laid on a gradient that when it rains, all the rainwater from the balcony is going to end up in your dining room table or in your dining room. He's going to tell us if the pipes are working properly, if there's damp, if there's a leak in the wall. And then we know that if the building engineer says everything's okay, we tell our Mr. Electrician, listen, here's our building engineer report, everything's fine, you're responsible. Now, is
that required for banks or anything like that as well?
That's an appraiser, and if there's time I'll go into it afterwards, otherwise you can stay and I'll explain it to you later on. Okay? Now, once we get the key, once everything's ready, the building engineer is about 2,000 shekel, it's not a big deal. Okay? If we do not hire a building engineer and there's something wrong with the apartment, then the reasonable person could have discovered it, it's as if we waived our right for it. We cannot sue the builder, we cannot ask for him to be fixed. So for the 2,000 shekels to have the building engineer check everything, if he messes up and doesn't see something, I've got someone to sue apart from the builder. It's easier for me to sue a building engineer than a builder, to get the result quicker. And basically, we're not building engineers, we don't know what's going on, that's his job. So, again, once you're budgeting, put in the 2,000 shekel, it's worth it. Next thing is extra payments. Extra payments above and beyond the purchase price of the property. Okay? The first payment we need to make is purchase tax. We sign the contract and make the first payment, which is about 15%, 10%, whatever. The next thing we do is we make a divuach. We make a filing to the land tax authorities that there's been a land transaction. This is the price and this is the purchase tax. So, given sort of a breakdown here, on up to £158,000 for Israelis, you are exempt from purchase tax. Which means when you make aliyah, if you're buying a property up to £158,000, we will not use your rights as olim chadashim. As an olim chadash, you'll end up paying £793, so it's not worth it. The next price, if you're buying 1.5 million shekel, about £238,000, as an Israeli, you'll be paying 17,424 shekel, which is about £2,765. As an olim chadash, you'll be paying £2,487. So already at 1.5 million shekel, you save about 2,000 shekels on olim chadash. Nothing major, but that's what we're left with today. For 2 million shekel, which is about £317,460, an Israeli would pay 42,000 shekel, which is about £6,733. An olim chadash would pay about 40,000 shekel, £6,455, which is a saving of about £300. Better than nothing. The next thing you have to pay is the builder's lawyer. It's tiered, correct. If you go to www.sha'am.gov.il, then there's a simulator where you can put in all the prices, and it will tell you exactly what you have to pay. These prices are based on the fact you have one property in Israel. If you have more than one property in Israel, then you should add on an approximate 20,000 shekel to what I've just told you. Okay? The next thing is the lawyer. The builder is represented by the most beautiful lawyer, and he gets paid. He gets paid about 1.75% plus VAT, up to 2%. He does not represent you. He does not care about you. He just wants his money. His job is to actually draw up make sure that the property is registered in your name. That's it. Nothing more.
The buyer pays.
The buyer pays. Correct. So factor that in. It sucks. It's horrible, but when in Rome. Okay, that's just the custom in Israel. That is payable on the day when you sign the contract. Okay? The next thing is your lawyer. Your lawyer takes somewhere around about 1% plus VAT. That's also due on the day of signing the contract. Again, the next thing is when the property is ready, there are utilities, the gas, electricity, the water, all have to be hooked up. That, again, you have to pay for. So budget around about 2,000 shekels for that.
What's the difference between the two lawyers other than conflict of interest? Is it, do you do the conveyancing as representing you, or does the other?
What happens is like this. You get presented with a nasty contract, okay, from the builder. Your lawyer will go through it, cross out a lot of things, renegotiate things. He knows what should be there, what shouldn't be there. He'll put it in your favour, he'll tilt the balance. His lawyer doesn't care about you, he doesn't do that. All he does is transfer the title. That's his job. Okay? He gets paid more than your lawyer, but again, that's the custom in Israel. For those who take out mortgages, the
1% for your own lawyer.
1% plus VAT. Okay, VAT in Israel at the moment 16.5%.
And how much will it be as lawyer?
Sorry?
1.5 will it be as lawyer?
Those lawyers 1.75 to 2. Again, that's negotiable as well, by the way. Okay? The 1.75 to 2% sometimes it's negotiable, depending on the builder, depending on the mood, whatever. Sometimes the builders take it off without telling the lawyer, they just give him a check and he doesn't notice. The next thing is mortgages. Those of you taking mortgages out, when you go to the bank, there are mortgage fees. Sometimes it's up to 0.5% of the value of the loan. Your lawyer, in most cases, can either get an exemption from that, if your lawyer has good connections with the banks, or can get it reduced. I tend to use a mortgage consultant. I use Isra Mortgage, and they go around different banks, and they basically say, this bank will give you this bank will give you that, and this is the best one I can get for you. You have to pay the mortgage consultant, but the money you'll save on the mortgage, because I'll get you a discounted rate. If you walk in off the street, you'll get one rate. If you use a mortgage consultant, then you'll get another rate. It will be cheaper. So the money you pay the consultant, you'll be saving on the mortgage in the long run. The next thing you have to pay is the building inspector. That's before we sign. That's once the property is ready. Again, it's 2,000 shekel. Sometimes, in addition to the builder's lawyer's fee, you have to pay him for the plans of the apartment which he has to draft up in order to transfer the title. Sometimes it's $100, $150 per room. Again, your lawyer can sometimes cap it and say, listen, we've paid you enough money, we'll pay no more than $300-400 for that. Again, in some properties like Sharabat, Cafe Sharabat in Modi'in, very large complex, had a management company. Once the property's ready, you have to pay a management fee instead of vadbai, which is a bit more expensive. Okay. Exchanging money. If you're not taking a mortgage and you're sending money over from the UK, do not use the banks. There's companies like Isra Transfer. You can save a lot of money. I had one person who saved around about 12,000 shekel on a small transaction over his bank. Why? Because the Israeli banks charge you for receiving the money, they charge you for converting the money, and they give you a bad rate. So you save all that by using a money changer. Again, www.isra Transfer for those of you who want more information on that. And that is the end of the new property guide. And I will now take questions for about 3 minutes.